Welcome to today's webinar, 10 strategies to get your first or your next 100 subscribers. I really am so excited that you're here. And, the simple fact that you're spending your precious time right now to pick up more strategies for effectively growing your subscriber list tells me a lot about you. You're driven, you're a self-starter, and you know that you don't really own your social media followers. It's time to get that list of yours growing. And I know this, right? A big objection that I often hear from entrepreneurs, my clients, is that they don't know how to actually get people onto their email list without coming off as selly, right? Salesy or pushy. In this world where we're constantly seeing advertisements and being told that we need to buy all the things, it's so overwhelming to wonder how we can stand out in the crowd, really how you can rise above noise. Name of my business, rise above noise. So here's the thing. We're going to talk today about giving people a reason to opt in, something they're willing to trade their email address for, right? So nowadays we're on the prowl. We don't want to get junk. We want to make sure that when you're growing, truly growing your email list, that you're offering an opt-in, a lead magnet that's worthy of the exchange. So we'll start with that. Like, what do your followers need? What keeps them up at night? How can you create an offer that they're going to be eager to take action on? So today I'm going to talk about ways to grow your email list that focus on serving and providing such valuable content to your audience that you won't even feel spammy. You'll feel generous. And I encourage you to stop leaving list building opportunities on the table. We're going to talk about all the different ways that you could be missing out on ways to grow your list. But let's start with the elephant in the room. Is email even worth doing? So many people would tell you that email is dead. And, I love facts. My business is facts and data. Fact is, email remains the top marketing tool if it's done generously and with focused intention. Your contact list is one of your most valuable assets, right? Like, let's start right there. Let's agree that no matter what business you're in, your contact list is one of the most valuable assets. So knowing that it's natural for people to unsubscribe from your list or change their email address, whatever, you need to continually grow your list with quality contacts, right? People who actually want to consume content from you. So I'll take a look at just a few stats. We know that people do still prefer email as their more, I would say, consistent way of communication. These are stats I've shared before. If you've watched my webinars before, you know that I share these. And the ones that I'm most interested in always is 91% of people check their email daily, according to Litmus. You do. I do. How often do you check your email? I check it many times a day. I think most people are. So when you have an email strategy, you know that you can reach people in this intimate space that we call the inbox. I also like the stat that says that for every dollar you spend on email marketing, you can expect $44 in return. Again, when it's done properly. And this last one, 3 times higher conversion rate than social media. I'm not sure how that's measured because I think just general social media, it's really hard to tell like how much time you're spending, how much is your time worth, how much is that converting, what does a conversion look like? Is it just somebody commenting? Is it somebody buying from you? What I love about email is that you know what your conversion metrics are. I want to know how many people open my emails. I want to know how many people clicked through. And I do want to know how many people are scheduling calls with me. That is usually my main call to action. Schedule a call with me, or maybe hop on one of my webinars. I do love teaching webinars. That one's important to me. So in the end, email marketing is going to pay for itself over and over again And when you have a strong and ever-growing email subscriber list and a timely automation welcome series, which I'll talk about, you will grow your business. So let's talk about what we're going to cover today. Talk about how to entice people, get them to join your list. I'm going to cover 10 strategies to use in various channels. I think it's important that we don't put all of our efforts in one area, and how you're going to be able to build momentum with these new subscribers so that they continue to learn more about you, move them closer to doing business with you. First, a little bit about me and the Rise Above Noise methodology. If you know anything about me, it's that I'm obsessed with Sherlock Holmes, really all of the detectives, but Sherlock Holmes in particular. Crossword puzzles, beekeeping. I ran a science lab. I founded a women's networking group, and I was the director for over 12 years. And so what these have in common, and why should you care, is that my superpower is figuring things out. I follow clues, I pay attention, I listen closely, and I make those connections. I'm a detective, right? So that I can help my clients uncover their personalized marketing strategy that's going to feel like ease, like joy, like flow, so that they can show up with generosity and consistency and attract their ideal clients. This is my, I believe every entrepreneur should have a I believe statement, kind of a mission, kind of a vision, but this is my I believe statement, and this is the methodology I use. I believe that when you show up with consistency and generosity, you can bring change to the people that you're here to serve. Now, I also believe that as business owners, we can go out and make money. We could all have jobs. But as a business owner, if you're running a business, time and energy are your most precious resources. Right? So how can we, right? How can I help my clients focus on making the best use of our time, our energy, creating a system that allows you to save that time, to feel generous, to be intuitively aligned so that you can nurture and convert your clients that you're here to serve with ease. In Rise Above Noise, it's designed to guide you, the entrepreneur, out of that chaos, out of that confusion, out of that time suck by offering you a clear roadmap that'll save you time and attract ideal clients and make you more money. So I'm going to guide my clients to make the best use of their digital marketing platforms by understanding and being able to communicate what are their core values, what is their mission statement, what is their I believe statement, and how can we use that so that when we show up, the people that we're aligning with will recognize us as somebody they want to work with. Once you have that in mind, you're going to start creating your compelling content. Usually I'm guiding people on how to use their frequently asked questions or their best stories so that, again, it's just easy. You already know everything. Now it's just a matter of having a system to be able to show it, right? Marketing, anytime I say marketing, I want to invite you to, anytime you hear the word marketing, I invite you to replace the word marketing with showing up. Marketing is just you showing up. So how can you show up for the people who can benefit from working with you? And that's by sharing stories. Then you want to also share stories of your happiest clients. That's proof of concept, that's testimonials, that's case studies, and stories about how that's so important to share that. That's where I get most of my marketing language, is from what my clients have said about working with me. And I use a form. I love forms, right? So I'm talking about organizing and scheduling is the next thing here. Like, What forms, what do you have in process that's going to take away any of the repetitive work? How can you make sure that you're following a calendar, following a plan, showing up with regularity, right? Marketing with regularity so that people can find you. Don't be the best kept secret. Keeping in touch. Some people are great with phone calls, direct messages. I help people set up their contact relationship management systems, let's say on HoneyBook or something like that. But today for this, we're talking about email. How do you keep in touch with people who have shown an interest but aren't ready yet to actually engage and buy from you? And all of this in the Rise Above Noise process is so that you show up and you can be of service. And we already talked about this a little bit. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. My gosh, everybody's talking about TikTok now, LinkedIn. These are platforms that could disappear. You do not own your followers. You don't own your connections. When you use social media to bring people over to your email list, it's your email list. You've received permission, it's important, to contact these folks in that personal space that we call the inbox. So when someone hits the sign up button, they've raised their hand, they want to know more about you, they're excited to learn from you. How then do you make the most of that moment to introduce yourself, meet them where they are, and share about your services in a way that's going to make them feel welcome, make them feel like they're entering your space and learning about you? How do you also set expectations, right? And then show them ways so that they can learn more and more about you until they're ready to buy. So let's get into it. Let's start with how you can entice people to join your list. And I think the important thing is it's not just about them receiving your email. It's really about what happens in the process. And it's always what's in it for them. It is never about you. And I think that's really important. If you're already writing emails, if you're already writing for anything, if you're posting, remember it's never about you. I say marketing is showing up. Yes, but you're showing up in a way that the person who needs you recognizes themselves in what you're talking about. Right. So that's why I think sharing stories, testimonials, and reviews are so important. How can you, like if somebody was up in the middle of the night last night, 3 o'clock in the morning, woke up, can't stop thinking about this, can't stop thinking about it, something's on their mind. What if they woke up or they were scrolling their inbox while they're whatever, and they see an email from you and you're giving them a hint or a tip? I don't know, maybe it's just ways to sleep better, whatever it is. How can you be the angel in the inbox? Now, when I talked about at the beginning about not wanting to feel salesy or pushy, how does this feel to you right now? How can, like, does this feel so much better than like I'm trying to sell programs? When you can show up and be in service for people who need you, then it becomes your obligation to show up to market so that they recognize that you're the person that's going to help them. And what are the small wins, again, that you can give them until they're ready to really put down some money? So there's three main reasons people will subscribe, right? They want a promotion or a discount. They want to get some really great content. That's where I spend most of my time with my clients. And like, if you're a nonprofit or something like that, people might want to know more about your stories or what's going on. So you want to like come up with something right away that's going to entice people, right? This is going to be the value you provide. Now, I'm going to run through these lead magnet ideas pretty quickly, but I'm going to put a link in the show notes where you can find more information on this topic, because this is a whole webinar on it, all on its own. But what could you choose, right? Look, think about it. You probably already have something, a blog you could share, a checklist, something like that. So it could be a giveaway, like any of these things. A lot of my clients are doing ebook or chapter downloads right now. Now, webinar or class, and case studies are good, but let's do webinar or class. The reason I want to stop at webinar or class is because I'm working with a number of clients right now because they realize that people are kind of over the PDF download thing, maybe even over the checklist, maybe over the quiz. Webinars or workshops are such a great lead magnet. And because when I run them live and people sign up for them live on my website, they're coming, they're spending time with me. They're hearing me like you're hearing me now, but they also feel kind of connected because they're asking questions in the chat and they're learning and they get to hang out. And I do a little coaching at the end of my live webinars. Webinars are really good because you don't, so maybe you're not going to get thousands of people, but you're going to get 5, 10, 15, however many engaged people. It's such an effective way to run a lead magnet. Oh, so this is the email I was telling you about. So if you want to, I mean the webinar. So there's the link to access my lead magnet webinar, which it's just filled with great information. These are so, you know, I love these webinars as monthly list growth. And not only is it my monthly list growth, but when I'm holding a webinar, so for instance, let's talk about how to segment your list to get better results from your emails. That's going to be the third week of the month, usually on a Thursday at noontime. The rest of the month, I'm sharing tips and strategies, how to segment your list to get better results. What is segmenting? How do you do it? And so the whole month, I'm creating content on my socials that lead to the webinar, but also providing great value for my followers. So that's why I like webinars as the #1 list growth tool for people who enjoy presenting as I do. So your lead magnet offer, your opt-in, your irresistible free offer, whatever it is. So that is what's going to be featured as the headline on your form, right? In your ask, your sign up form. So here it's get the guide, 10 steps to buying your first home. So clearly, if they're buying first home, you want to get that guide. You're going to keep the form simple. I usually just take on an email and first name. Then it says to you, it says here too, you're setting expectations. Enter your email address to get the free guide, blah, blah, blah. And then you will receive our monthly email featuring da, 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 da. So those are the expectations. I use Constant Contact. Constant Contact gives us the option to use SMS or text. If you are using SMS, you need to also include your privacy policy and terms of service on this form. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the 10 strategies. Now, as we head in here, you're spending your time with me. I appreciate you. I want this to be time well spent for you. You're busy, I know that. So as I'm going through these 10 different strategies that you can that you can use to get more subscribers, I invite you to make the best use of this time right now. Don't multitask. Get started right now on your own strategy. While I'm going through these 10 strategies, go ahead, make a list as I'm going through them. And then, excuse me, I will put it on you to kind of rank them. Which one sounds good? Like what do you think you could start right away? Now, I don't want you to pick the best one. Like if making a course sounds good to you, or writing a book and giving a chapter sounds good to you, that's going to take time and that's going to put you out of momentum. I want you to get into momentum right now. So figure out what you can do today, this week, within the next 2 weeks, whatever. Get started. You will be so happy that you did. Momentum is what grows our business. Time and energy are our most valuable resources. Use that right now to commit to taking action starting today. All right, so let's talk about how to do that. Now, there's 3 buckets that you might want to ask people to join your list, right? There's in person. That's particularly if you have brick and mortar or if you're at an event. But I want to also say that this one, this is going to include your online networking activities. So if you're on a Zoom call and you're invited to add your contact info into the chat, don't just put your website there. Add the link to your appropriate opt-in page so that the people that you're in the group with there can receive something of value from you right away in their inbox, right? And that way they're going to be reminded of you and the value you offer. If you're simply adding your website, they might maybe go check you out, but they're probably going to bounce right off. And that could be the end because we're all so busy and we have the attention spans of gnats. But when you generously offer something of value, you're helping them make a micro commitment to you, and you get their email address, which I've already mentioned, to me is like currency. Now, you can use print materials, especially if you're at an event or you have a brick and mortar, you can use signs, flyers, brochures, direct email. I recently was working with my client, a caterer, and he was at a wedding conference, and they were showing their products, and we created a form that said, it was a QR code, click here, go to this QR code and get our special menu for this venue, for this wedding venue. And when they went to that page and got the menu, they were invited to sign up for the monthly free drawing for a free clam bake. So that was very effective for them, and that was something they had on their signs and will continue to have. So I'm going to probably talk about more online. That's where I spend my time. And these are all the different places that you can put your link. I guess that they did networking chats there, right? So your website's probably going to be one of the main places. So when you think about that, how will you do that on your website? Now, a pop-up is going to capture attention, and maybe a pop-up feels kind of to you. It's so much more common than it used to be, so maybe it doesn't feel so edgy right now. And I didn't love it at first, but now that it's more mainstream, A, and B, when you've realized that you can get like 6 times more signups with a pop-up than if you didn't have it a pop-up, or if you just had it as like an inline or on the sidebar or something. A pop-up is very effective when it's something that people really want to know, right? That your clients will know. And that's if they come to your website. So we'll talk about some other things. And you're also going to want a separate whole form, right? A whole landing page too, because not everybody's going to come in at your homepage. Maybe you've shared a blog or an about page or something like that. So you want to be able to have a link that goes to a full sign up page, a dedicated landing page. So other website tools, you could use a banner opt-in. That's what I use on my site. My sign up, my opt-in is right at the top of my website. You could have it, and like I said, you could also have it in your footer or your sidebar or at the end of any of your blogs is what I would also recommend. So number 2 is if you have any kind of checkout process, put a little block in there to give people the option. Now this one says email me with news and offers. I'm probably not going to click on that. Probably not. Maybe for Keen Shoes, because I love when Keen Shoes gives me a discount. But in general, I'm not signing up for anybody's email list. However, if this said, sign up to receive our checklists, blah, 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 something that supports me, how to take care of your feet when you're hiking, that I might be interested in. And so make sure that's a compelling call to action if you're going to put that in the checkout process. So social and email are a partnership. I don't think you could have great email growth without using your social. And your social, you need to put some time and effort in that and always know what your call to action is. What is it you want people to do? For me, it's usually going to be sign up for my webinar or sign up for one of the resources, and I'll show you that later. So how do you mobilize your social following to join your list? Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a link in your bio. So you've probably heard of Linktree, and you want the link, the main link, to go to wherever your sign up for your freebie is, even before your website, my friend. You want people to get on your email list. You want to do that by offering them something valuable. So you're going to do this on your profile on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Lineable, any place you are. Now, if you do have a number of links, you can use something like a Linktree, which makes it really easy to share a bunch of links, right? So on mine, let's see what we're looking at here. I think this is my Instagram. And you can see that my one link that they give me goes to what is essentially like a link tree for me. This is a page on my website where I have all my freebies and my how to schedule with me and all the things. So that is like my link. So it's / risebovenoise.com/goodies. Head over there, get your freebies. So the fourth one is, again, we're still in social here, but now if you have a Facebook business page, you have an opportunity to link, to create a sign up button right on your page. So in Facebook, you go to your business page, you're going to select add a button. In this case, I selected sign up, and then the URL. Oh, I'm sorry, that's LinkedIn. The URL is going to go to that goodies page that you saw. Let's move over to LinkedIn. In LinkedIn business page, you're going to go to your LinkedIn business page. You're going to click edit on the left sidebar. I don't show that here, but that's going to bring you to this edit button, this edit page. You're going to click buttons. You see that on the sidebar. And then you're going to give the button a name. I chose sign up. And then you're going to put the URL to your freebie or your link tree. Okay. Still in social, your social business pages allow you to pin a post or a highlight or a spotlight. Facebook does, Instagram does, LinkedIn does. So make sure that you've written something juicy about your lead magnet or about what it is that you're offering and pin that. Now, the other benefit of pinning a post is that it's always there. So if somebody comes to that page and they interact with that post, maybe you say, leave me a comment or something like that, or drop your email or DM me or something like that, or just click. The more people are interacting with a pinned post, the more the algorithm tells Facebook that this is something worthy of showing. So even if it's a post you've made a while ago, if people are interacting with it, it could still show up in people's feeds. So pinning a post with your number one call to action, which is something, join my list and receive my whatever, that's going to be very effective for you. Still on social, you might decide that you want to use some lead ads to find new customers, right? So this is a good way to get people to really be able to micro target people with particular qualities, demographics, where they live, how old they are, what their interests are. You can create custom audiences to find new customers or supporters. And when you do this properly, now I would say do this properly, it can be very effective. Make sure, again, you have a good call to action and that you're bringing them to someplace where they sign up for your list. Now, as you're growing your list, once you get a list to a certain amount, I think it's 1,000, it could be a little more. You can actually export your email list, upload it to Facebook. Now, you're not giving up anyone's privacy because they're not going to be targeted here. But what Facebook does is it takes that list, it runs its algorithm, and it sees that you have, let's say, 1,200 people in however it is, what your audience is. I know my audience is heart-centered entrepreneurs, usually service-based, really want to dig into their intuition, but they know who my people are following, what kind of activities they do. So if I upload my email list and feed and add to people who look just like them, I'm going to have way more success than if I just boost a post or if I don't create a good custom audience. Still on social, I would say that to to be engaging in the comment section of social media, right? To show your value and expertise. So that is not necessarily in what you're posting, but it's when you interact on other people's posts. Be conversational first. And then if there's an opportunity, you could say something like, oh, I've got something that might help you with that. And then you put a link to your freebie if it aligns. Don't be spammy, right? So make sure. You want to keep that as relevant as possible. You want to keep it conversational and really basically providing your expertise showing up in your zone of genius. The goal here is to be helpful and you want it to sound natural and not pushy. All right, so before I get into the last two list growth strategies in today's lesson, I want to share this list with you. Now, you don't have to worry about writing them all down right now, but if you want to, you can stop the video and go ahead and write them. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. This list, I feel like, is gold. I highly recommend that you print it out and tack it up near your workspace. Your opt-in, your lead generator, is of absolutely no use to you if you don't put it out there for your ideal clients to see it and know that it exists and know that it's for them. You know you have a solution to their challenges. Go ahead and share it. Now, I go over these opportunities in much more detail in that lead magnet webinar that I mentioned earlier. But take some time, download this, print it out. Your email signature, I'll just make it clear. The email signature that I mentioned at the top there does not mean in your like constant contacty kind of one. I mean it like in your Gmail or your Outlook. Look at your signature. If it just has your website there, you could be losing opportunities. You might want to have a call to action in your Outlook signature, your Gmail signature, as I do, which says, begin to grow your list now, download this guide, something like that. I could go on and on about this. Well, get that lead generator webinar. That goes into a lot more detail. This is a good one. So number 8 is collaborate with other businesses to gain exposure. You want to feature each other. We do this. I have a Friday morning CEO Power Hour with 6 other entrepreneurs, and we spend an hour each Friday morning quietly working side by side in a guided kind of workshop. Look at your calendar, look at your invoicing, look at your networking. But we always have a portion of our meeting where we talk about what are you all working on this week and how can we support you? And if anybody's holding a webinar or has a new opt-in or needs some help, they'll put that in the chat and we will all comment on it or we will share their events. It's so powerful. You can't pay for that kind of advertising, right? So make sure that, or maybe you share social posts about those people, or maybe you feature them in a blog or an interview, whatever it is. Who's aligned with you? Who's kind of working with the same people, but not the same thing that you're doing that you can align with to help amplify what it is you're doing. Number 9, I kind of touched upon, right? Use a QR code. Use it on your business cards, your brochures, your direct mail, your menus, really any place to use the QR code. I want to caution you, I did this, I loved my new business cards. Put a QR code on them. I was going to a conference and I wanted people to be able to go to my goodies page and get my freebies. Made a QR code for that. Went to check it the night before the conference only to find out that the QR code had expired. So if you're using a free QR code generator, double check and see if there's an expiration. Luckily, I had to pay $100, but I was able to at least get that QR code to work for that conference. Now, if you're doing in-person events, which I think we're all back to now, let's talk about that. You can use an app or a form on your device, right? Like it's maybe, you know, how people have clipboards and people write down their email addresses and it's hard to read. And then you're exhausted after the conference and now you're like, oh, I got to go do this. Like it's so much easier if you have an automation set up ahead of time and then people put their own email address right into your iPad or computer or whatever you have there, or you do it with them on your phone while you're there, whatever it is. So much easier, so much more effective. They're going to get the follow-up right away, like maybe even while they're still with you. And I think that is so, so, so effective. 10 ways. So that was 10 ways. Let's take a moment now. Pause if you have to. What are you going to do? We talked about taking action. Before I move on to how to build momentum, I want to give you a couple minutes. Now, I'll ask you to go ahead and pause and tell me, what are you going to do first? What are you going to do today? What are you committing to finishing in the next 2 weeks? And I would also invite you to go ahead and send me an email. If you want me to look at something and give you some feedback, go ahead and send me an email. Or get on my calendar for a free consultation. I will be happy to give you feedback on whatever you're going to do right now with today, at least within the next 2 weeks. Like jump on that momentum. All right. Pause, do the work, come on back. So now, last but not least, I would say it is probably equally important, but it's something for a whole nother webinar. We want to continue to engage them, right? So we have to, when people sign up and give you their email address, they are engaged with you. They just shut the internet off for however long it took and they were interested, right? You've got to have something right away. We've got to capitalize on that momentum. So any great relationship is going to start with communication. And this is where, at the very least, one welcome email, maybe 2, comes into play. So the purpose of this webinar, I'm going to offer you a suggestion for 2 emails. So email number 1, whatever you offered, give it to them. Even if you had a confirmation page and they were able to access it there, it's okay. Follow up right away with an email and set the expectations. Let them know who you are, where to follow you, and how often they can expect to hear from you, and also how to unsubscribe if this is not aligning with them. You want a nice, clean list. You don't want people on your list who do not align. And then email 2, just let them know how to get in touch with you. Share your socials. Maybe you offer something else that's free that you have if you've got a number of lead generators. I usually send this one about 3 days later. So for a lot of businesses, again, people aren't going to put down money with you yet. They need to be nurtured more, right? So depending on your business, what do you need to do to let people know more about your business or product? It's important to keep these leads warm so they don't forget about you, so that they see that you're opening, well, not they, the algorithm sees that you're opening emails. And so the algorithm will make it so that they see more of your emails. if people don't already have an idea what they want to use for this sequence, I usually recommend using Donald Miller's welcome sequence template, which is what I use for my clients if they don't have something in particular. I will tell you that if they have something in particular, I'll give you an example. A client of mine was offering 10 simple ways to work meditation into your, is it meditation or calming or how to calm down, something like that. And she had 10 tips. And so she made a beautiful PDF and for download. It was beautiful. I would have put it on, I put it on my refrigerator. Then for the next, I think she sent one every 4 days. So however many days that is, she sent an email with each of those tips, right? So the email number one was, here are your 10 tips, download it now, put it on your refrigerator, your corkboard, whatever. Then the next one was that list. If you didn't print it out, here it is again, but I want to go into more detail on tip number one. Da, 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 and so on down the lines. That was a really beautiful 11-part nurture sequence that really gave and gave and gave. She could feel really good about creating that nurture sequence. Oh, I'll put the link to this in the show notes. This is a free webinar. So why do you need an automated email welcome series? And this gives a lot more tips to what I was just talking about. All right, so let's recap. I want you to remember, it's not about you. It's really about the value that you provide. It's what can you give these people who just signed up. You want to choose a lead magnet that draws them in and feeds them, entices, right? It's like, what can I give you? And so they will give you their email address in return. You want to remember to leverage all the channels, all the places, the print, the social, the in-person, the networking, leverage all of the channels. And then, of course, you want to use an automated welcome email at the very least. Again, I can't say it enough. These people are highly engaged. You want to continue that momentum. So again, I suggest a series of emails to do that, get them to connect with you some way or another. Beyond that, then you can put them into your regular email, monthly emails, weekly emails. I like weekly or bi-weekly. Monthly is okay, but man, if you do only like seasonal or quarterly, people are going to forget about you. You've got to have consistency and generosity. Well, I would be remiss if I did not give you some ways that you could work with me. I have three main ways that people work with me. Done for you. Done for you is really their favorite. We do the deep work. We really get to know each other. I dive in, I get to know all of your platforms, and then we create something for you, an automated series or monthly, weekly emails or lead generators, whatever it is. I'm going to take it off your plate. We're going to have a great conversation. And then in the morning, you wake up and boom, it's done. And you start growing your list. Done with you is a popular package for people because they don't, they want to be very involved with what it is that they're doing. So I meet with my clients twice a month, once or twice a month, to review what they're doing, look at their results, look at their conversions, look at the results, see what's making them feel joy, see what's making them feel heavy, do more of the joy, find ways around the heavy, and do things that are going to, again, keep them in momentum and get them more clients and more money. So that's the done with you. And then once people have worked with me for a while, sometimes they're like, I'm good. I'm good. I learned a lot from you, Susan. Let's just do quarterly reviews. So basically, it's the same thing. Let's take a look at everything. What's bringing you joy? What's moving the needle? What isn't? What can we let go of? And what should we add in? And it's super easy to get started, right? We just have to have a phone call. I will go when we have a phone call. I go through your platforms, I listen to you talking, and I will give you actionable steps that you can take right away in our free conversation because basically I can't help myself. If you don't have an email service provider already, I do love Constant Contact. I'm fluent in all of them. Constant Contact is my favorite for many reasons. The number one reason being their incredible customer service. When you sign up on that link, they will set you up with a template, and then I will also be notified that you got set up on my link, and I'll give you a 30-minute consultation on your emails. And I think it's really been very helpful for my clients who switch over to Constant Contact or get started on Constant Contact. So let's keep in touch. These are all the places. If you haven't already, checked out the Facebook group, Rise Above Noise. There are daily prompts in the group. It's not salesy. There are days when you can share your promos or share, but mostly it's kind of just relationship building links, prompts in there. People are sharing their stories, sharing their struggles, supporting each other. And what I love the most about that group is that people are finding collaboration opportunities and doing workshops together or creating products together. I love it. I do a monthly free webinar. So you'll go to riseabovenoise.com/events to find out what the next free webinar is. And thank you for spending your time with me today. I appreciate your time. Listen, go ahead right now, like stop. And if you have to go back to that other page, go back to that other page. But let's make sure you get something done right now. And go ahead and send me an email and let me know what it is. I am rooting for your success. I'm here to support you. Let's make sure that you are doing the work that you need to do so that you can support others in their transformation.